So Sean, how are you feeling about today now? I mean, we've just dropped points again, and it's looking like that it's going to be even harder for us now to bounce back. Because at the moment, even if we were to beat Arsenal at home, if we lose to Liverpool and Arsenal win their next game, they're 5 points ahead of us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've lost the ascendancy in the race. Until today, it was in our hands. Whatever happened, if we win all our games or whatever, even if we lost today, it was still, we'll still come down to the. It's still technically in our hands, right? If we beat Liverpool, and then we take and Arsenal win all their games, it's still technically in our hands, right?
It's true.
But it's just that the harder games now are for Tottenham to face. We have to deal with Leicester next week. I don't know what's going to need to change, mate. It's one of those performances like Brighton last week where we were just completely devoid of any effort, of any energy, of any ambition. It looked like they were just clueless and they were kind of lost like puppies or rabbits caught in the headlight. And it's just sucked the energy out of me. It sucked the energy, I'm guessing, out of most of the fans.
I think so.
And we got a really big game against Leicester now. If we don't turn it on against Leicester, then it's pretty much you could consider it game over, I'd imagine.
And they've been hitting some form as well. They've been hitting some form as well now, Leicester. That's could be even harder right now.
Yep.
So look, I think this was a must-win game, and we've bottled it again. We've literally bottled it once again. It's what we do. It's in our DNA.
Is there anything positive?
Bottlers FC. Today? No, not at all. No positives whatsoever. Everyone was, in my opinion, again, they didn't look like they wanted it. There was no cohesion. There was no drive. There was static again. It's the same shit we've seen like time and time again this season when they don't look like they want it. We saw it a lot more under Nuno, and then when Conte came in, he kind of ratified, he kind of like made it a bit better. But like right now, look at us. We've just drawn again. We can't score at the moment. Last two games, we've had 2 shots on target in the last 2 games. We've gone from literally, 2 shots on target. We've gone from literally the highest scoring team in the Premier League this season to probably the lowest shots in per games in the last couple of games. Now we're like probably one of the worst in the Premier League now.
I think the only positives you can take is something a little bit more external from Tottenham specifically, and that is that there's still 5-6 games to go in the season, and it swings and roundabouts. Momentum shifts happen all the time. We've had it for the last 4 or 5 games. Everything's gone our way, and Arsenal dropped the ball. Right now, they're on the bit of that they've come back and they've had 2 surprisingly easy victories against 2 teams that most of us would have factored in them struggling against when we were looking on the bullish side of our top 4 hopes. But there are still 5 games to go. There's lots more twists and turns in the season.
Oh, 100%.
So, who knows? With people like with Saka getting injured today, who knows what's going to happen to Arsenal's fortunes going forward? But focusing mainly on Tottenham, we need to figure out over the next 6 days a system, a model, formation, a tweak, something where we can close the gap between the midfielders and the offensive line. I've never seen Tottenham have such a gap between Højbjerg and Bentancur, and Kulusevski, Kane and Son, who looked like they were oceans apart.
Oh, yeah. You saw the space in the midfield the whole game, pretty much. Every time we were defending, it was like all of our midfielders were all back. The wing-backs weren't getting forward enough. Emerson, you hardly saw go forward in the first half.
Yep.
It was Sessegnon going forward, and he just obviously was just unfortunate. He wasn't really getting
Sessegnon in the second half.
He was awful.
Was staying when Sonny was belting forward. He was walking. He was walking behind him.
Walking. So there was no urgency to overlap him and give him another option going forward.
Yeah.
And
for me, I feel like it's time now. It's never a good time to start experimenting with formation changes, especially this late in the season. But I feel like what we've seen in the last 180 minutes of football shows us how the bereft of options we have when Emerson is on the right. The other players don't trust him. The other players don't want to give the ball to him.
You can clearly see that.
It's like we're playing with 10 men, Danny. Right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like, for me, I want to see either a different formation where you pull Emerson and let him play in his natural position at right back and go to a 4-2-3-1, which I don't think is going to happen. Or you need to stick to the formation, but change the personnel that are within it. And for me, on the right, you either now need to put Sessegnon as an inverted right wing back.
No, I can't.
Or you put Bergwijn or Lucas Moura in that role.
I think any
take a bit of a risk.
I think most Spurs fans would like to see that risk happen. They would like to see Bergwijn or Moura play in that position.
Yeah.
But from what we've seen of Conte all season, he's not going to do that. I can't see him doing that. Is he going to? Do you really believe that he's going to change it up like that? I don't think so.
I'll be very, 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 very frustrated if I see the same starting 11 and the same substitutes as what I saw today and what we saw at Brighton. And if the only switch again is figuring out whether they want to go with Sessegnon or Reguilon, both of which have disappointed. Sessegnon was woeful today, and Reguilon was woeful against Brighton. So if the next option is just to go back to Reguilon again against Leicester, then it's not going to satisfy me, mate. I need to see where Conte's earning his money. I need to see him have a plan B. And us in the community are screaming out loud to see something different happen on the right-hand side.
Do you not think it's because, like, the way I see it is that he obviously, he must not be aware of how bad Emerson is, and it's the only player in that position he feels like he can trust. But maybe it is something that something's been said, but Bergwijn doesn't want to play in that position. But I can't see a player turn around and say, no, I'm not going to play because I don't want to play in that position. Not a player who wants to play for the club or wants to at least
more then.
Or give it to someone who will at least put some fight in there, or be a bit better than what Emerson's doing, because Emerson is just terrible. Today, everything he tried going forward, he kept losing the ball, misplacing passes. He had no confidence. He wasn't running into the right spaces today. And again, like you said, the players didn't trust him and they weren't passing him the ball. And it was like we were playing with 10 men down that side all the time. Kulusevski in the first half looked isolated. Yep. He wasn't getting anywhere near the ball.
No, I don't want this post-match first thoughts to be focused solely on Emerson, because I don't want to give everybody else a pass, right? I feel like
the whole team
pitiful.
Was diabolical.
You know, Højbjerg and Bentancur were both incredibly deep the entire first half. Neither of them were looking to move forward. What we saw in that period where we won 4 or 5 games on the bounce, one of them or both of them would interchange and move forward. That didn't happen today. On the left, Sessegnon was woeful. You know, I thought the only player that I actually thought I'd say had a good game was Romero.
Yeah, of course, yeah. He was the only one, and it's because he kept cleaning up all the mistakes that people were making. And if it wasn't for him, it could have been worse. Yeah. And also Harry Kane, I know he played bad, but he saved a crucial goal-bound goal, basically.
Yeah.
That header off the line. If he wasn't there, we'd be 1-0 down, or it could have been a different story. We wouldn't have got the point. Because I couldn't see us scoring a goal today. You couldn't see it. And it's like...
All against Brighton. It's been 2 games now where we have just looked like we're miles away from scoring goals.
It seems to be a confidence thing or a lack of concentration, because, again, Højbjerg and Bentancur in the middle, they kept misplacing passes time and time again. Yep. Eric Dyer, every time he tried a pass, whether it was a long ball on the floor or over the top, it was misplaced every single time. Yeah. The only one who was playing out from the back, who was actually giving some decent balls, was Romero.
Yeah.
Other than that, no one else was trying. You didn't really see them run up. A lot of times you'd see the centre-backs kind of push forward a lot. Like you'd see Ben Davies push forward. He wasn't pushing forward today. None of them. They were sitting so deep. And then every time we were breaking, there was no one around. So Harry Kane would have 3 or 4 players around him. Some would have 3 or 3 players around him. Kulu as well. Yeah. And it's and because they were so far apart and there was no one near them, they couldn't do anything. And we kept losing the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what the...
It's the same as Brighton. It's the same.
It's exactly the same. It's almost a carbon copy of what happened with Brighton.
Yeah.
You know, we should have on paper lost this game today, just like we did in the last few minutes against Brighton. You'd find a hard post-Tottenham fan to not acknowledge that Brentford... It was close. Neither team were outstanding, but Brentford certainly were the more adventurous going forward. I feel like... You know, we didn't try the things that worked at Aston Villa, but even, you know, if we didn't go long and direct against Aston Villa, that game could have gone wrong. The problems didn't start at Brighton. The problem started when Doherty going off injured against Villa, and that game, you know, was the start of our slide. And it's difficult to find positives, Danny. It's very difficult to find, you know, anything to really take and go, what can we improve on to beat a Leicester team? You know, the only thing you can look at is that Leicester are a different entity to Brentford, or a different entity to Brighton. And hopefully we can maybe exploit some of their weaknesses. But at the moment, I just look at Tottenham's last 180 minutes of football, and I'm terrified of how we're going to fix this.
The way it's gone on today and a lot against Brighton in the last 180 minutes, like you said, I think it shows they're obviously lacking some cohesion, a bit of concentration, and confidence is the key, right?
Yeah.
I think they're lacking the confidence in their football, and you can see it by the misplaced passes. There's players are not overlapping to try and help the team get into positions. They're static, and it's like you look at the games coming up that we've got, and it's like where are we going to score goals against these teams? Like the team Brighton, we haven't ever really lost to them at home, and we go and lose 1-0 at home to them, and they probably deserved it. I would say. I mean, on the balance of play, they had the better of the chances.
Yeah.
Again today, Brentford, they had the better of the chances.
Yep.
So if we did nick the win, it would have been a bit undeserved. But
They hit the woodwork twice.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
For them, it was unfortunate, and we were lucky that we actually came away with that point. To be honest,
We didn't have any chances, really, did we?
No, we had no. We had.
The Harry Kane, like,
Did we
overhead
even
kick,
have
but-
one on target? I don't even know if we had. I can't remember.
I don't think we did. I don't remember us doing. If we did, it would have been one of those dink. Like,
So what?
those
So we
sort of-
basically had 2 shots the whole game, basically.
I remember Sonny tried his like chip shot that he that was weak, and Harry Kane had the same attempt that was like he changed his mind last minute, and then the Harry Kane overhead kick, whatever they want to call
So we had
that.
like 6 or 7 shots.
A few shots, but none of them that were troubling the keeper. It was woeful as Brighton. And these are teams that we should be smashing. If we're a top 4 team, we should be smashing. And if we're not smashing these teams, or at least not even like threatening their goal, then you, as a neutral, if you weren't a Tottenham fan, you'd have to make the argument that Tottenham don't deserve, to be a Champions League team. I'm not suggesting that Arsenal do, or United do, or West Ham do. I think it's obviously that it's pretty clear to all. You got the top 2 teams, and you got Chelsea, and then you got about 5 or 6 teams that are all on somewhat as bad as each other.
So we had. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. We had 9 shots to their 15, and we had 0 on target.
0 on target.
0 possession, 56%. How the hell did we have
expected goals 0.7?
Touches in the opposition box 29. That was.
Yeah, we're very good at like just peppering the passes in.
So 2
There was all those block shots that we were trying to do, weren't we, for that 3 or 4 minute period? But
I can't see how we're gonna beat. Is it Leicester we have next? No, we have
Leicester next. Yeah.
I can't see how we're gonna beat them. To be honest with you. I mean, yeah, it's. I don't know because after Leicester, then we have Arsenal.
No, we have Liverpool first.
Is it Liverpool first and then Arsenal?
Then Arsenal, and then Burnley, and then Norwich, and then Burnley. I think it is. Look, I don't know how long we've got to do this. I suppose this post-match reaction is. It's difficult to find any positives, guys. Like, it really is. I'm sure you're feeling as frustrated as Danny and I are at home. It's literally so difficult to find anything to take away from the game that makes you think that we're that we were unlucky today, or that the Brighton performance was a blip. It wasn't. It clearly wasn't. This is suddenly a problem because, as crazy as it sounds, Matt Doherty not being in the team, that consistency, that synergy, the relationships that he had built with Kulu and with Højbjerg and with Romero and like those things, it was so impactful on everybody's confidence around the team, and him not being there and having Emerson come in, it's terrifying because I think that it just rips the faith out of the
it does
out of the players.
But you could see like we were saying, right, against when we beat Leicester last time, right, with Bergwijn scored those 2 last-minute goals, whatever it was. Doherty, didn't he come on as a substitute? Like, I can't remember, in the second half, and the energy he showed that game, that was where he first started playing quite decent, right?
Yeah.
And he showed more energy than any other player on the pitch, and I think that's what we've lost is the energy. So, okay, yeah, and I think that's where we're lacking, and I'm fed up of these fucking players, right? All we hear about in the press, we got to do better, and we have to show it on the pitch, and all. They just keep talking. All they do is keep talking, and they keep giving us performances like that.
Yeah.
And what does that tell Harry Kane? What does that tell Conte? Right? End of the season, if we finish 5th, I honestly believe he's gone. I can't see him staying.
Who?
Conte, because I don't think he'll be backed.
Well, look.
Do you actually believe Conte will be backed if we don't get top 4?
I do, but I'm someone who, I'm not someone who's a Levy out. I'm not someone who's a Levy in. I'm just someone who takes a different approach to the Levy debate. I genuinely think that he has one last chance to capture or to regain any kind of faith or respect or credibility. And I don't think, obviously there's a £30 million difference between finishing 4th and 5th, just as an immediate thing. There's a lot more. The gap widens in what's possible with the money. This isn't the time to, I guess, talk about all that stuff, but we can't change the players that we have until the end of the season, right? So we're stuck with what we have.
Yep.
We can park the Levy debate until the end of the season. I do think that he will put up if he doesn't, then people like me will come onto the other side, I guess. But for right now, Danny, it's a sad day, mate. It's been a wonderful experience coming into the studio.
Shame he couldn't be on a win, mate.
Shame he could be on a win. It's been great to see you. It's been great to be here with all of you guys that are watching. And there's really zero positive to take from it, I don't think. I just hope that we came out of it injury-free. So, although we don't know what Sanchez was doing on the pitch.
I don't know what the hell that was. That was
Another
another baffling decision, that we can't get our heads around. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I want to see what people think in the comments. Maybe put your comments down and give us a reason why Conte brought on Sanchez, because we've got no idea why Sanchez came on the pitch when you're trying to win a game, and Bergwijn didn't even get on, which is I can't understand it.
Reguilon could have come on for Sessegnon if Sessegnon was looking tired or whatever. You could have had Reguilon on. I don't know what Sanchez was, what possible benefit there was bringing him on. It made absolutely zero sense. Well, I'm sure we're going to chew through that stuff over the coming days. It's a sad day, really disappointing, especially given Arsenal's win earlier. Top 4's not over, guys, but it's certainly looking a lot more vulnerable and a lot more unlikely than it was.
Yeah, definitely.
4 or 5 hours ago today.
I think it's going to be a very difficult next five games, is it now?
Yeah.
So we have to wait and see what happens. There's still a lot to play for. Like, this race is so close at the moment, and it's like the who wants it out of the shit teams, basically. It's like which shit team's going to get it at the moment, because no team's really showing, well, they want it as much. But obviously Arsenal in the last 2 games compared to our last 2 games, they're showing they really want it, and we're showing like we don't want it. So
yeah, they're 2 games, regardless of how you want to criticise Chelsea's performance or United's defending.
They won.
We didn't. So not good, guys. I guess should we wrap it up here?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Just in case you didn't know, you can catch me, Sean Butler. I'm from Spurs Talk Show on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. All one word, no spaces on the YouTube search. Love it if you could subscribe.
Yeah, and you can catch me on Tottenham on Tour on YouTube with the legend himself, Brian Daigle, Brian Ireland, and Adam Clark. And yeah, guys, I think that's it. So like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, in the words of Ben, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.